Hello, Facebook world. This is Katie Max with Get Your Glow On, and I am here on Mastery Monday to be with you. I'm so excited. I hope you've all had a great weekend. This morning, as I was reflecting on what I wanted to share with you, the topic of integrity came up. Integrity is just such a huge part of our life, and most of us have a stronger ability to keep integrity with others than we do with ourselves. And so that's really what I want to talk about today. Hey, Lee, mwah, Yvette, so good to see you both. So integrity, I want to tell you what the definition is of integrity from dictionary.com. It is the state of being whole, entire, or undiminished, period. The state of being whole, entire, and undiminished. So, in the world, we are moving at such a fast clip. Oh, Fariba, mwah, so good to see you. Happy Monday. So it is so important that we take a look at how we hold our word with ourselves. Like I said, it's so much easier to keep agreements with others. It's easier to keep agreements with professional promises. It's easier to keep agreements with your family, picking up your kids, doing what you need to do. But when it comes to yourself, how do you keep your own integrity? When we break agreements with ourselves, it whittles away at our self-esteem. It whittles away at the trust we have in ourselves. And it also feeds stories that we have about who we think we are and who we think we aren't. All of us are driven unconsciously by stories that we've made up to be true about who we think we are and who we think we aren't. And so when we break our word with ourselves, it feeds into the I'm not enough, I knew I couldn't do it, all of those stories that keep us from really being in the fullness of our capabilities and in the fullness of what we're here to accomplish in this lifetime of ours. So this week, I would love to have you do an assignment so you can take some notes. It might be really helpful. So what I would love for you to do this week is every day create promises to yourself for yourself. Okay, so that doesn't look like the to-do list of, I'm going to get this done at work, or I'm going to get this done for my kids or my spouse. What it looks like is really making promises to you. So what does that look like? That could look like making sure you get enough sleep. It can look like taking some downtime for yourself where you read and just relax. It can look like taking a walk. It can look like going to the gym. Cooking a healthy meal, taking the time to do that, right? Like creating that for yourself in your world on a daily basis. And so what I'd love for you to do is write down what it is that you're committed to each day. So that's for the next week until next Monday, right? And then at the end of the day, take a look at what you promised yourself and just see what happened. This isn't about doing it perfectly. This isn't about beating yourself up. We must get in recognition of where we let ourselves down, where we let ourselves off the hook of integrity. So I'm going to share a story that I experienced when I did this, and I did this quite a while ago. And it really was so illuminating for me to break through in my life, okay? Because what I really noticed is I had absolutely no problem keeping my agreement with you and with my clients and with everyone else. But when it came to me, I was too tired to give to myself. And so I just let myself off the hook. And I broke all agreements with myself every day. Every day. And I started out the day with intention, like, I'm going to do this for myself. And then my focus was on everyone else. And then by the end of the day, it was 8:00. I didn't take that walk. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't cook the dinner. I didn't, get enough sleep. I didn't unplug. I didn't take time to read. All these things that really feed my spirit. And it was such an aha for me where I was like, oh my God, I put everyone else first. And I knew that conceptually, but when I landed in the experience of letting myself down, I knew why I didn't trust myself. I knew I could trust myself for you, but I knew I couldn't trust myself for me. And that was a really powerful reckoning. And I didn't beat myself up. The purpose of this is not to beat yourself up. Okay, the purpose is to wake up and say, oh, this is where I let myself off the hook. I must re-engage how I operate every day by making myself the priority, right? And actually booking myself into my calendar, checking off the time, taking time to meditate, whatever it is. And you don't have to start huge. You can start with small increments, right? Like when I started meditating, I started with 10 minutes. I was like, I can create 10 minutes of time for myself. And as I started with 10, it grew to 15, it grew to 20, it grew to 25, it grew to 30. And some days I can meditate for an hour, and some days I meditate for 30 minutes. And even on days that I'm really busy, I can do 15 minutes. But as long as I keep an agreement with myself, then I can show up for you in such a more powerful, grounded way. And I think we make up that I just have to do, and then I'll be there for you, and I'll please you, and I'll get approval from you, and all this stuff. But really, if you actually fed yourself, your giving to others is going to be so much richer. I can promise you that. Because I know from the experience, and I know from the contrast of not giving to myself and being totally worn out in my giving versus taking care of myself and being energized in my giving. Okay, so it's really, really important. And as you take a look at how you have accomplished your promises each day, I really want you to ask yourself these questions. Where was I in integrity? Where was I not in integrity? Right? It's really good to know so that you have that contrast. I also want to find out, did you hold back in making promises to yourself that you knew you couldn't keep, or it was like too much of a stretch? Because oftentimes we play it really safe. It's like, oh, I'm going to make sure I brush my teeth tonight. Well, you probably are going to brush your teeth. It's like my request in the promises to yourself is stretch and just see where you land, because that's part of the learning. But if you're holding back and playing it safe, then, that's not where life is happening either. So this week, really take a look at how you hold promises to yourself. And what's the cost to your life when you don't keep your word with yourself? What happens to you? Where do you give up? Where do you say, I knew it couldn't happen? Right? Those are all stories that are not true. They are just stories that you tell yourself to keep you from expanding and growing into fully who you are. And I want you to know I am here on this planet to ignite your desire to live the fullest life possible. Because I believe that's why you're here. I believe that's why all of us are here, to live in the fullness of our gifts. But if we break our word with ourselves continually, then we diminish our integrity and our ability to be fully who we are. So in wrapping up, I want to make sure that you understand this isn't about doing it perfectly. This isn't about a tool that you can use to beat yourself up. What it is a tool to be in recognition so that you can make new choices that are truly aligned with who you are and what you're about in the world. And the only way we can do that is by seeing the contrast of how we're living our life. Right? And it's truly not about beating yourself up or buying into a story about who you think you are and who you think you aren't. I know you are awesome. I know you have so many gifts to bring. And the only way you are going to do that is to be in recognition of your word, how you are living your life, how you are feeding your own self first, right? and really coming to terms and becoming aware. Awareness is a huge piece to being able to break through. When we're in denial, then we just don't break through, right? So it's really coming to terms with how you hold your word for yourself. And I want you to know you are so awesome and you deserve to keep your word with yourself and be empowered and ignited. And I also want you to really notice when you do keep your word with yourself, how do you feel about yourself versus when you don't? Because how we feel about ourselves really drives us to what's next. And if you beat yourself up and make yourself wrong, you're not going to get to where you want to go. And when you keep your word and you don't keep your word and you learn like where you let it go, then you can re-choose again next time. It's so powerful. So with that said, may you have incredible integrity with yourself. May you learn from what you do, how you show up for yourself this week, and may you step into a version of you that honors your word with yourself because you are worth it. You are so worth that. So until Thursday, I send you much love, many blessings, and I hope you have a beautiful few days. And feel free to contact me if you have any questions about getting your glow on, because I am here to support you in that. Mwah. I love you all. Take care. Bye.